Invesco dropped the fee on its global equity ETF from 19 basis points to just 5. That's over 70% price cut. But here's the part that doesn't make sense. Even before that fee cut, this ETF was already one of the top-selling ETFs on Fidelity, despite the fact that you could buy a near-identical version from UBS for almost a third of the price. Same index. So why were investors paying more? Well, I went digging, and what I found between these two ETFs explains everything. Both ETFs track the same index, so same destination, but they take completely different routes to get there. UBS buys the underlying stocks, and that's called physical replication. Invesco, instead, it uses swaps, paying banks like Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley to deliver their return. The goal here is surgical precision. The bank effectively guarantees the performance of the index, which cuts out the tracking errors you may see in physical funds. And that's called synthetic index replication. This does introduce a small layer of counterparty risk, essentially trusting that the bank will pay up. But for a long time, it gave Invesco an edge, because synthetic ETFs have something very powerful. They can bypass something physical ETFs can't, and that's tax. Physical ETFs lose around 15% of US dividends to withholding tax. Synthetic ETFs, they skip that part, and over time, that tax saving compounds and more goes into your pocket. So the trade-off used to be simple: pay a little bit more, get a bit more back in tax alpha, and it worked. Invesco consistently outperformed the index, but UBS changed the game. Back in 2021, UBS was charging 30 basis points for its ETF, and it showed. They were lagging the index by nearly 20 basis points. While Invesco, even with the fee they need to pay on the swap, was beating the index by 11. So the math was simple: pay less for Invesco, get a bit more back. But then UBS started cutting from 30 basis points in 2021 down to 6 in 2025. And that's when everything flipped. Suddenly, UBS was beating the index in 2025 by 22 basis points, Invesco just 8. UBS had gone from the expensive option that dragged to the option that came out on top. So Invesco had a problem. The synthetic structure was still working, but the fee gap between the two had grown wide enough for UBS to start making gains. So they responded with a massive fee cut. And honestly, that makes sense. Why would you buy something for more when there is a cheaper alternative? Invesco clearly wasn't going to sit around watching UBS or others take market share and knock them off the charts. So they went from the top premium price to one of the most competitive in the market. So let me know in the comments, are you persuaded by the benefits of synthetic replication, or are you strictly a lowest cost possible type of investor?